Let's talk about a pretty radical idea, one that really shaped our digital world as we know it. What if software had no owner? We're about to dive into this incredible story of creation and community, where code was just set completely free.
Now, really think about that for a second. Imagine code that belongs to everyone and to no one, all at the same time. Software that is totally free for anyone to use, to modify, to build on top of, and yeah, even to sell, without ever asking for permission or paying a dime. Sounds a little like a fantasy, right? But for a while, this was a very real, thriving thing.
And that's the whole idea behind public domain software. It's like a digital commons, where creativity has zero restrictions, because the person who made it has intentionally said, you know what, I waive all my rights to this. It's for the world now. And to really see this idea in action, we've got to travel back in time.
So, our case study here starts with what's known as the Amiga phenomenon. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, this computer was, well, it was revolutionary. It wasn't just a piece of hardware, it was the heart of a whole new kind of software culture. See, the Amiga wasn't just another one of those beige boxes sitting on a desk. This machine was built for creativity. It was years ahead of its time. It had a preemptive multitasking operating system, which was a massive deal back then, letting it just juggle multiple programs super smoothly. Its custom chips delivered graphics and stereo sound that were honestly just unmatched for a home computer. This led to things like the world's first full-color multimedia word processors. And all this unique hardware created this vibrant demo scene, a whole community of coders and artists and musicians who were just pushing the machine to its absolute limits, creating these mind-blowing audio-visual demos for the pure fun of it, and of course for sharing their skills.
Now, you might read this quote from 1986 and think it sounds a little over the top, but at the time, this was a mind-blowing statement. The Amiga's operating system, Amiga OS, was so advanced that it made its competitors look ancient. It really turned the machine into the perfect playground for a whole generation of hobbyist programmers.
So you have this absolute explosion of creative energy, right? And it led to a software revolution. All of this amazing homemade software needed a home. And it found one in a project that honestly changed everything. Aminet.
Just let that number sink in. By 1996, Aminet was the first centralized internet repository for Amiga public domain software. It was this massive volunteer-run library with over 10,000 different utilities. It was like a digital treasure chest built entirely by the community for the community.
And this little diagram just perfectly illustrates the engine that powered the whole thing. A developer would create something cool, they'd share it on Aminet, and boom. Instantly, thousands of other users could download it, test it out, and give their feedback. This collaborative cycle, this loop of creation and improvement, was a direct forerunner to the app stores and open-source repositories like GitHub that we all rely on today.
But while this amazing grassroots revolution was just booming, the ground was actually shifting right underneath it. The entire world of software was about to change in a big way, not because of new tech, but because of new laws.
Here's what happened. Before 1988, in the US at least, putting your software into the public domain could happen just by, releasing it without a copyright notice. But then the Berne Convention Act came along and completely flipped the script. All of a sudden, copyright protection became automatic for literally everything you created. If you wanted to put your work in the public domain, you now had to actively, explicitly, and legally give up your rights. The default setting got switched.
So this legal shift basically created a fork in the road. On one side, you had the public domain philosophy, which was all about waiving your copyright. Total freedom. The only catch was that someone could take your code, tweak it, and then lock it down in their own proprietary product. So a new idea popped up. Free and open source software, or FOSS. And this was clever. It uses copyright as a tool. With licenses like the GPL, it legally guarantees that the software and any changes made to it must remain free and open forever.
Okay, so if FOSS came along as this powerful, protected alternative, where does that leave the original spirit of the public domain today? Did it just disappear? Oh, not at all. The idea is very much alive, and it's often in critical software you're using without even realizing it. Take the database engine SQLite. It's probably running on your phone right this second, and it's in the public domain. And for creators today, we have legal tools like the Creative Commons Zero Dedication and the Unlicense, which provide a clear, legally sound way to waive your copyright and contribute your work to this global digital commons.
And I think that's the real key takeaway here. Even though the legal world changed, that original Amiga public domain spirit, that collaborative drive to create something just for the sake of sharing it, it didn't die. It just evolved. It became the cultural foundation for the massive open source movement that powers so much of our world today.
Which, of course, brings us right back to today and leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In our world, a world of monthly subscriptions, fierce intellectual property battles, and totally locked down ecosystems, is there still a place for that radical, simple idea of software that truly belongs to everyone? What's the real value of the ownerless idea today?